Let us see. Let us continue with bubble sort. So we have seen what happened to the elements in the first phase. I repeat, during the first phase, the largest element got located in the last place. Let us see the second phase. So we call it as phase number two. So again, we have to repeat, but the thing is, how long we should repeat this? Now we need not to touch the last element. We need not to compare the last element 85 because that is already sorted. So let us continue. We continue with 27 and 33. So there is no issue. Then 33 and 51, there is no issue. Then we have 23, 51 and 23. So we have to exchange it. Then we have to compare no 51 and 66. We have to exchange it. Then 56 and 67, sorry, 66 is in the place. So at the end of pass 2, second largest number 66 has moved its way down to the next to the last position. Look at this. So next is your pass 3. During pass 3, 57 has come to the right place. Pass 4, 51 has come to the right place. Pass 5, 33 has come to the right place. Then pass 6, 23 has come to the right place. So when 23 comes to the right place, we need not to touch the last elements. So we have 7, uh, we have got 8 elements. So you have taken pass 7 passes. So at last pass, what happened? All the elements got placed in the right place. So this is about bubble sort. I hope you understood this. Next is about searching. Uh, Searching is finding data, so which refers to an operation of finding location of an item in a data. So when I say the location, so please remember the place. Item stands for the element, data stands for the array name. So all this happens with an array. So I repeat, so we are going to find a given element in the given array. So let us see how it works. So we have named the array as data, and we are going to traverse this data sequentially to locate item. Item is the element to be searched, and we follow a technique called linear search. Linear search is nothing but one after the another in a sequential manner. So what we do is we have used a little different techniques. Uh, Initially, what we do is we are going to take the element and put it in the last location. Look at insert item at end of the data. Set data is equal to n plus 1. Think that you have got n elements. So how to insert the given data at the last element? So you are going to find the last element, go to the next location and store it there. So for this purpose, you have taken data of n plus 1 is equal to item. So at the last place, we are going to store the element to be searched. Now what we do is we have taken a variable called location, which is equal to 1. Then we search for the item. Repeat while data of LOC is not equal to item. So item is to be searched. The LOC starts from 1. For the first location, we compare the elements. First element with the given element, the next element with the given element, third element with the given elements. And if it is not found, what we do is we'll go to the next location. So LOC is equal to LOC plus 1. So LOC starts from 1. And the moment you find that the item and data at the location is equal to, or these two are equal, what we do is we are going to come out of the loop. So this is nothing but the end of the loop. There is another way of terminating this, uh, because the moment you find the item is equal to the given element is equal to the item, you are going to terminate. This is one way. Another way is you have stored the item at the last location. So when you store the item at the last location, so this is another way of terminating in the loop. So because we have stored the item at the last place. So in at the last iteration, we are going to find the element at the last location. So this is another way of terminating the loop. So next is about multi-dimensional arrays. So multi-dimensional arrays nothing but it's a collection of elements which is stored by pair of integers, and these integers are called subscripts. So normally we have every integer will have two dimensions x and y. We call it as subscripts, and the two-dimensional arrays are called as matrix in mathematics, and tables in business. Business it is known as not tables. Matrix we call it as two-dimensional arrays in mathematics. This is the way we store it. So we have rows and columns, and it's a three cross four matrix, and how it is stored: a of 1 1, a of 1 2, a of 1 3, a of 1 4, and which is having column numbers and row numbers. Let us see little more detailed way how we can do it. So how we can represent two-dimensional arrays. Two-dimensional arrays we can represent in two ways. One is column major order, or row by row, which is known as row major orders. Look at the first one. So the first column is represented. So we have something called 1 comma 1. So that second one indicates the column. We have 2 comma 1, 3 comma 1. So if you represent in this format, so which is known as column major orders. Look at the second one. See the subscript. So which is row major orders. So where rows have the importance. We have 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, 2 1, 2 2, 2 3, 2 4. So whichever the way, even if you write matrix or two-dimensional arrays as 3 cross 4, all the elements will be stored in a sequential memory location. So please remember that. Even though pictorial way we can see that there is 3 cross 3 rows and 4 columns in your system, which will never get stored in that format. So which will be either stored in column major order or row major order. This is a way which will be stored. So please understand that two-dimensional arrays get represented in the memory in a sequential way, which can be either row major order or column major orders. So this is way which will get stored. So this is about two-dimensional array representations. So what we have seen is multi-dimensional arrays. We have seen what is searching before. Searching is finding an element in a given structure. Then we have seen what is multi-dimensional arrays. Multi-dimensional arrays where every element have a row and column index. So this is a way normally we store it. Next is about how we represent this. Uh, Two-dimensional arrays can be represented in memory in two ways. I repeat, one is column major order, and second one is row major order. If it is column major order, and this will be represented in the form of no subscript, which is shown in the first picture, and if it is row major order, which will be represented which will be stored in a way which is shown in the second picture. So I hope you understood this. Thank you.